Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today is my birthday, which means I've actually got a full day off work. And of course it's going to be dedicated to doing bits and pieces in the van. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This channel is all about hiking, solo camping and all that sort of stuff. But this year I've decided to take on the massive challenge of buying a Citroen Relay to convert into my own self-build camper van. Now, I am not skilled in the slightest. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm doing everything on my own as much as possible. And she's out there, Vivian, my van, she's parked out there in the sunshine waiting for me. So if you haven't seen the build already, there's some previous videos you can catch up with. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss another video from me, and let's get started.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in old conversations. Cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken. Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. I was never the one to give up the ghost. No, I was so stuck. I kept on playing my part, wanted to give up cause nothing was changing. But with you it's so clear, and now that you're here I see colors in every spectrum. Guess I finally learned my lesson. Cause you glue all the pieces back together.
So we are in the van, but we're not in the van because I tied it all up and thought I'd take Romeo out to Bulwell Hall Park for a little run round because he's been a very good boy, apart from when he's been digging the garden a little bit. And I need to go and get some wood. So I'm hoping after a long walk, he might actually sit in the van while I just nip inside for 5 minutes and grab me plank of wood that I need. We shall see. Anyway, we're gonna go walkies now, aren't we? Go walkies. So, just an update then. I've painted those plywood boards to go back on the barn doors. They don't fit perfectly, but it doesn't really matter because it's just a temporary thing really to tidy it up. On the way back I'm going to stop at Wickes and get my piece of wood that I've been after for ages. Okay, so my next job is to somehow connect this to my battery, the actual battery in the van, and I'm going to show you where it is. So on a Citroen Relay, it's a bit messy under here, but the battery is actually found under the passenger footwell. And I believe where these red cables are is where I'm going to be running this positive cable. So I've got to work out how I can thread it through. I think these come up and then it might be able to go through there. But I'm going to have a go with that, see how that works. Okay. Obviously I need to clean this, but looks like they're screwed in, so I might have to take those screws out. Might have to undo these screws as well, to see if it all loosens up. I've also removed these ones as well. What's the worst that can happen? Also removing the footwell ones, and there's one more here. Might as well take that one off, and I might be able to give it a good clean because under here, look at the dirt. Oh, you can't see it there. Look at the dirt. Ugh. And there we are. This is what's underneath the passenger step, if you ever wondered. And apart from a little spider, it's not too bad. I am going to give it a clean as well while it's like this. But now then, looking at these cables, I'm assuming that's the little channel my cable's going to run through as well. Under there, and then somehow, there's Whisper, through there, and then it's going to pop out here, and then I'm going to conduit it with the fridge cable, I think. Huey did advise to lift the floor up and put it under the floor. That's going to be a bit of a job for me to do on my own. So I'm going to just wire it round the outside, I think, probably. Full disclaimer, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, but let me just show you what I've done. So I have poked cable under here, like so. That's a bit baggy anyway, so it shouldn't be a problem. It comes out here, and then I've poked it up through here carefully, and then it's under here, and you can see, push that back, there it is, under there, and then I've just clipped it. There's a little, this wire here is underneath, and it just, there it is, look, and I've just poked it in there, clipped it in there. Ta-da! I hope that's enough cable to connect to the battery. I think it will be. Not sure where I'm going to put that. I think I'll just tuck that out the way over there and maybe tape it up there. So I think I've done that bit right. That wasn't as difficult as I thought. And then it's going to run round the outside to where Whisper is. She's admiring the new carpeted wheel arch, I think. Yes. Now, you might be thinking, well, this is odd. I thought we were fitting the bed today. And yes, you would be correct in thinking that, yeah. However, just now I've had a phone call with Huey from Noma, the electrical company. And it was a video call, and it was so helpful. And he spent ages going through everything with me. And he's made things sound not quite so scary. So we're shelving the bed at the moment. And I'm just going to jump on a couple of these electrical jobs that I've been putting off. And then I can order the phase 2 bits and pieces. And he's going to talk me through everything. So Huey is now my knight in shining armour. And he's going to help me wire this goddamn... He's now going to help me wire this goddamn van up if it kills me. It probably will. So now we've got the fun job of hoovering. A job that I've been putting off because, let's face it, I'm no Vanderella. But Whisper is here offering support and guidance, although she won't like it when the hoover gets turned on. And while I've got this thing out, I might as well do a bit of spring cleaning in the cab because it's much needed. So I think what I'll do is I'll run this 10mm conduit over just to protect the cable where it's having to go over sharp bits of plastic like that. I'm going to tuck it there for now. I think it'll be okay there. I'm just gently close it down for now because nobody really stands heavily on the passenger side anyway. So I'll just make sure it's not getting squashed or pinched or anything, and that should be fine. There we go. So I'm now just going to put it all back together. I've given this a nice little clean, as you can see, shiny and new. I need to just look at this a bit better because it's not sitting down properly, but I'll sort that in a second. But yeah, looking so much better. All right, a few moments later, we've got the 6mm red and black for the fridge in the 25mm conduit, and here's the 16mm positive that's coming from the battery through there, through the same 25mm conduit. It's going to come around the back of the kitchen cupboards somehow, not sure yet. And I'm just leaving all that wire like that. Probably a fire hazard, but I'm having a little conduit party over here. And as you can see, there's my beautiful carpeted wheel arch. I'm not going to show you the other one. The next job, I need to find a place for this. This is what I'm not looking forward to doing because it means I've got to cut another hole in the van using the jigsaw. And if this goes wrong, then we might just have to have an extra window in the bottom of the van. Luckily, I haven't properly insulated the back corner of the van because I would need to peel it all back again, and that's never a fun task. So let's go and see where Whisper wants this to go. I'm deciding on where to put the electrics, and I think it's going to go driver's side over the wheel arch. So we also now need to find the plywood that went over the wheel arch before, so we could use that, either use that or use that as a template for some new plywood that's going to go over there for my electric board. And then we can fit this, although I don't want to fit this. This is the scary one. So Another thing that Huey told me was the black cable doesn't need to go back to the battery, which I don't know anything about. It needs to be grounded to the chassis of the van. And he said that in the back corner columns where the brake lights are kept, let me just show you. These columns on either side, inside there, that's the housing for where the brake light electrics are. And in here, that is a connection. That is where we can ground the negative to the chassis, I believe. Basically a little bit of bare metal with no paint on it that's welded to the chassis of the van. He said just scrape back some of the paint on the actual side of the van. But I might be able to use that possibly itself and clip it onto there. I don't know how it's connected, but anyway, that's just something that I've noticed. It's good when you know how, isn't it? Whisper's very interested. So the next job is deciding where the short inlet's going to go, and I think it's probably going to go, it's going to go here. What do you think, Whisper? Here? We need a really flat piece. So again, I'm going to have to peel back some of this, aren't I? I'm not sure what this vent is for. I'm going to leave it in though. I think we're going to have to put it, that's like a nice flat piece. Just got to make sure it's only one skin thick, so it's in one piece of metal, which I assume that is. I don't know. Oh no, maybe it's, I don't know. Is that one? That's two, isn't it? That's two pieces of metal. How do you find, it's going to go through two skins surely. Right, need more investigating. Okay, so just as I was looking on the outside of the van, I realised it was raining. I was going to have a look at the location for the short inlet, and lo and behold, it starts raining, and oh dear, what a shame, I can't do it now. It is something that I'm very unsure about doing, so we might have to come back to it another day. Anyway, into the garage we go. Ugh, not looking forward to this. Because our, leave the door open so I can actually see. Because our recycling place wasn't taking any wood, we've had to store all the old bits and pieces just in here, which is making it an absolute nightmare, and I can't move in this garage at the moment. I was hoping I could reuse these big planks, but they're just too thick and heavy, I think. So, behind here somewhere is, it'll either be this one or this one, I think. No, that's the floor. That's the one that's definitely going in the bin, but these ones don't look too bad. I was hoping to try and reuse part of them, or, you know, some of them, but I've got to try and get to them. So let me see if I can fish it out and have a look. All right, so the good news is the board fits over the wheel arch quite neatly. Now, this is the opposite side actually, because if you look and remember how nasty it is, I don't know if you can see in this light how horrible it is on that side. It's got silicone stuck to it and all the rest of it, but I don't want it to go all the way up anyway, because we're going to have the bed there across the middle. So all I need is it as a template to cut a fresh piece of slightly thicker plywood that's going to come up to basically where the bottom of that hole is, straight across to the bottom of the other hole, and then we're going to use that as our template for the electric board. Would we use it on this side? We'd have the same problem. We'd have to cut it out over the wheel arch. But if we've got the other piece, I don't think there's anything wrong with having it that way, so the dirty side's on the other side of the van. But I do think I'll probably need a fresh piece anyway. So that needs to be a thicker piece, maybe 12mm, to screw all the bits and pieces on. The other bit above can be lighter, and I've actually got a spare piece of board just here, which is laying in the van floor at the moment. This piece of wood is what I'm using. This is what the bed's going to be secured onto, which will run basically where those two holes are. But we can definitely use this piece as a template, I think. So I'm going to measure up where it needs to be cut, and so I'm going to mark it up where it needs to be cut, and I've got a new plunge saw, new toy that I bought as a present to myself for my birthday again. I have lots of those at the moment. To cut through that, we can practice with it using the plywood there. This is, like I say, it's only going to be a template anyway. yeah, so we can do that. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what else I can do. We can measure up the board. This board down here is what we're going to be using to secure the bed to. And the plywood beneath me is 6mm. That's going to be for the rest of the wall. And the other side, I mean, it's not too damaged. It's not too bad because I don't know whether I'm going to put a piece of plywood like this up or I'm going to clad it. I'm not sure yet. So at the moment I was just going to use this as temporary till I've decided. Yeah, I know what I'm doing at least, I think. Alright, so this one is the one that's making me sweat a little bit because, as you can see, marked it wrong the first time. Got my new template there, and I've got to drill some pilot holes and then cut round that neatly, which I never do neatly, with a jigsaw. So then this can be poked through the hole from the outside in, and then I'm going to use some self-tapping screws to fix it. Now I could use Sikaflex to seal it, but I'm just going to try it without first. And there's only one way of doing this, and it's the right way, because if it goes wrong I have an extra window in my van. As usual, I've got Whisper here supervising, so I think we'll start. My masking tape's not great, it's dried up a little bit, but we'll start by masking up the edges. Let's cut this off. Oh, it's the most awkward thing ever now, isn't it? Doing everything a bit back to front here, but it doesn't want to. Come on. Oh, my tidy work is no longer tidy. Just a little hole. I mean, what do? Do we put a bit of masking tape here as well to stop it? Like that. Is that a good idea? No. Anyway. Alright, move the cider out the way. That's wobbling. That's no good, is it? Put it straight in the... Put it straight. Come on, Lisa. Is that better? I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do this cap-handed as well. Right, what's the worst that's going to happen? Let's just drill a hole. Okay. Let's go with a bigger drill bit. Well, we've made a hole, no going back. I mean, it's not the best work I've done, but I'm going to paint it up anyway. I've smoothed it off, I've sanded it down. That was the hardest job I've come across so far. Little Romeo has been on his own this afternoon in the back garden and been very good, so I've brought him in, strapped him to the chair so he can come and see the next bit. All the noisy bits are done now. Alright, so the next stage I'm going to do is to use some white spirit, clean spirit, to clean the area of the operation. And then I'm going to put some red oxide primer on the metal before we seal the white thingamajig onto it. Again, not my finest work, but rather this than rusting later. So it's going to all be hidden anyway, so I'm not bothered. It's absolutely roasting now. So while that is drying, I'm going to put some masking tape over the holes so we can measure where we want the holes to go on the piece of wood that we're going to drill to this piece, if that makes sense. So here we go. Voila! I have my masking tape across where the holes are going to go in the beam. This is my cunning plan. I've drawn a circle around each of the holes, like that. So there I can mark out where I want my holes. Whisper, whisper, whisper. Hey. Okay, so I now need to get my drill to make some holes in the wood that I sanded down and put the masking tape on as my guide. And then we're going to use riv nuts to secure it to the side of the van, which I've never used before, so that should be interesting. I'm going to use M8 riv nuts. So yeah, let's see if that works. New skill unlocked, riv nuts. That's my first one. So it's 5 o'clock and I didn't realise how late it was. I think I'm getting tired because things are becoming very hard work now. I've got this in. It is slightly wonky. I did my best. I had an absolute nightmare cutting the hole with a jigsaw. That was quite scary. And then maybe I should have made sure it was straight before I drilled the holes, but I just wanted to get it done. One of the screws then didn't bite for some reason. So then I thought, right, I'll go and get my Sikaflex and I'll bloody well put some sealant round it just to make sure it's watertight. I went to my Sikaflex and the tube was empty. So I thought, well, I'll get my other tube. I must have a new nib for the top now. Couldn't find one. So I took the nib off the end and used a screwdriver to scoop out the Sikaflex to just wipe round the edge gently. And I've screwed it on and that'll do, but it looks a bit wonky on the outside too, but never mind. Then I've been doing this, and of course this doesn't go straight forward either. I'm having a bit of a job tightening the riv nuts tight enough to compress them enough. 2 of them have gone in, but they've gone into the soft wood a bit too much, so I think I should use washers, so I'm going to have to take them off. And this one, the riv nut went in a little bit wonky, so the screw won't go in, the bolt won't go in properly. And that one I'm struggling with as well. I'm going to just give up. I'm not sure if this is going to be strong enough. Yes, I think it's time to pack up. So that's the end of the birthday build, and Romeo's obviously tired because he's still sat there and he wants his dinner. So thank you once again for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. So I've had a think, and I don't think the wood that I've bought, I don't think it's the right one. I think I am going to just get some longer M8 bolts to go through the wood that came out of the van originally. It's stronger timber, it's not soft, I don't think anyway, and I reckon I can reuse it. I think the one I got from Wickes yesterday, which I've been waiting to go and get for ages, it's light and it's 22 mil, which is nice, but I don't think it's strong enough. However, the 45 mil is going to bring the bed in closer, isn't it? So it's going to be, it's going to take down the length of the bed. So I'm not sure what to do.